In that speech, he said that the public opinion poll would bring the democracy of the New England town meeting to the large-scale nation state. Now, what is the New England town meeting? New England town meeting, they're in the northeastern part of the United States. There are these small towns where the people show up once a year, and everybody shows up, and they discuss the issues, and they set the budget for the town, and they vote. Very famous. Tocqueville wrote about it. John Stuart Mill wrote about it. Now it's been studied. It's fallen into disuse quite a bit because as the populations have gotten bigger, it doesn't work so well. And the really good town meetings work in very, very small towns of just a few hundred people. But it's a famous part of American democracy. So Gallup said, the public opinion poll will bring the democracy of the New England town meeting to the large-scale nation state. Now, what on earth could he have been thinking? What he said is that radio and newspapers would send out the views of competing experts and leaders, and the people would talk it over, and it would be reflected back by the public opinion poll. And it would be, he said, as if the whole country is in one great room. That is because of the media. There wasn't, you know, as I said, there wasn't television or internet in those days, but there was radio and newspapers. Now, it's a very interesting phrase, the whole country in one great room. The problem is, the room was so big that many individuals were not effectively listening. And a social scientist named Anthony Downs captured this problem really decisively, I think, in 1957 when he coined the term rational ignorance. That is, if I have one vote in millions, or one opinion out of millions, or even hundreds of thousands, or even thousands, my individual vote, or my individual opinion, if I express it, is not going to have much effect. Because it's only one vote in millions, let's say. And so is it rational for me to spend the time to become informed when we've all got lots of other things to do? We've got jobs, we've got families, we've got seminars like this to come to. Whatever it is, we got stuff to do. In a group this size, 12 or 14, you can have more effect than you can out of millions. That is for most people. Would that it were otherwise. From the standpoint of democracy, we would like people to take the time to become informed, particularly about those policy issues that affect their communities. Somebody's got to be informed about them. But most people are rationally ignorant most of the time. And this applies all around the world. Every once in a while, there's some great crisis where everybody focuses for a time and they have additional reasons for paying attention, but it's pretty unusual. So, in what I call the deliberative poll, we also put the whole population. It can be the whole country, it can be the whole town, it can be the whole city, whatever the population is, we put it in one room. Where it can be a bit like a New England town meeting. We take the sample and then we engage them in the discussion, and then we see how their opinions change. In other words, we have an initial survey, we recruit, we take this sample or microcosm, and then we engage it in what we think are good conditions for really thinking about the issue. And we break the people up randomly into small groups. So let's say you've got 300 people and 20 groups of 15. If you're in a group of 15 people, you have every reason to pay attention. First of all, if you're going to be discussing the issue, you don't want to look like a fool talking with the other people. But secondly, your voice matters in a small group discussion of 15. And quantitatively, your questionnaire responses will matter in a total of 300. So you've got a reason, the incentives for rational ignorance disappear. But it is the whole population in one room. Of course, we break it up into small groups, which is even better than the one big group, but we use both the big room and the small room. But that's the concept.